without giving anything away. Evie is a 16-year-old girl, and she is in a relationship with Danny. And Danny is the son of Clay and Gloria, who are the other two characters in the play. Evie is definitely somebody who considers herself outside, you know, mainstream society. I wouldn't say she's goth, and I wouldn't say she's punk or emo or any of those things, but definitely alternative. Has a very well-developed philosophy about the way the world works. Does not like the world that she's living in. I think wants to do something about it, and is somebody who sees things very black and white, and I think is surprised when she encounters Clay and Gloria and she starts kind of espousing this philosophy to them, and they see things gray. They don't see things black and white. And I think that's something that comes along with being a teenager. You know, things are either this or it's this. And when you point out something that might be in the middle, it kind of throws her off. I guess I'm drawn to people who seem maybe dark or messed up because I enjoy figuring out, I enjoy justifying it. I enjoy figuring out the reason for it, and I enjoy figuring out how to empathize with that and play it realistically. I did a role in college where I played a woman who was a schizophrenic, and I loved that because I love figuring out how to get behind the cliche of mental illness and figure out what it was actually about. And I did a show with Echo a couple years ago about a girl who was bulimic and was going on the internet and screwing with people and ends up making friends with a child molester. But I just enjoy taking things that seem kind of shocking and then figuring out how to make them real and normal to me. And it's just fun. It's fun to, Evie's so much fun. She's so funny. She's got all these great one-liners and zingers, and how fun is it to get to be 16 again, too? So, you know, it was 10 years ago, and it's kind of fun to go back to that place where everything's so dramatic and everything's so black and white, like I said. I really liked how smart she was, in particular, how intelligent she was. Like I said, she has this very advanced philosophy for her age. It was kind of the same thing that I went through when I was in college, where you start realizing that the world is not quite the way that it seems. It's not quite what they teach you in school. You know, it's not like we're the good guys and they're the bad guys kind of thing. And that's what I liked about her. And she went through that at 16, which kind of accounts for some of the things that happen in the play, I think. A lot of her humor comes very naturally to me. She's also very defensive. I can be very defensive. She has a very kind of black sense of humor, which is something I have in common with her. I like, she's very much, I think another thing that we have in common, she likes getting a reaction out of people. She doesn't accept the status quo. She doesn't just settle for what's there. She likes kind of shaking people up. She likes saying things to shock people, I think, just for the shock value. I don't know if I would necessarily, I can definitely see that in myself, even though I don't know if it's something to be proud of. Sure. I mean, it's dealing with an issue, a very complicated issue, and Carter's a great playwright because he's not telling them what to think, and he's presenting them with all sides. And I think ultimately nobody gets an answer because it's so difficult to say, well, this is, it's her fault, it's his fault. This is the reason why this happened. No, this is the reason why this happened. If we could only do this, then it wouldn't happen anymore. And, which is, I think, tragic in a way. I mean, to know that there are just some things that are not going to have easy answers, and maybe just some things that don't have solutions. But it's great. The play really kind of calls into question your own politics and how you feel about things too. How do I feel about gun control? How do I feel about, is it okay that people want to carry guns to protect themselves? Is it okay that they're very easy to get? And in one sense, I can see why it's not okay that they're very easy to get. In another sense, I can see why it is and why somebody might have the right to want to have one of those. Oh, it's just, I mean, it's very exciting, and I think it's something that's so healthy for a theater community to be working on new works, developing new works, and having playwrights in the community writing plays. Because, of course, that playwright is going to be affected. If the playwright especially lives in the community, he's going to be affected by the same things other people are, and is going to be writing about issues that are important to the community, and I'm very much about that. And I think it's something that we could use more of in St. Louis, quite frankly. Although there's a lot of support. You've got First Run, which supports first-time playwrights, and a lot of people doing stuff on their own. I believe there's something opening this weekend, Primal, which is an original show by the Slightly Askew Theater Ensemble. I think it's great, and we're seeing more of that, and I think it's a sign of the maturing of the St. Louis theater community. We've got a ways to go. A long ways to go, but it's moving. We're going places. Things are developing. It's definitely, the theater community is not in a state of stasis. Things are definitely changing and moving forward. Well, there's a lot of pressure. There's no precedent. You can't go and look at pictures from other productions. Not that that's necessarily a huge help, even when you're working on, say, Glass Menagerie. Yeah, I guess, because usually, and there's also usually the playwright is involved, and they're right there, and it's like this whole other dimension that you don't normally deal with, and all of a sudden you realize how important these words are, and which is a great thing, but I guess there's the pressure of getting it right. I don't know. For me, the audience is such a huge part of what I do. It has to be a huge part of what we all do. And I guess it's much easier for me to read them and to kind of include them in on the process, them being that close. And it also just allows you more range. I mean, you can do very small, subtle things and they're picked up. Whereas, you know, performing with Shakespeare Festival St. Louis, 5,000 people on an enormous stage outside, I mean, you're having to make broader brush strokes as opposed to, you know, maybe tiny little details that you can add in. It's more fun for me as an act. It's fun to do Shakespeare Festival too, but for different reasons. I mean, performing in front of 5,000 people is like one of the coolest things that's ever happened to me. But there's just something about the intimacy of a studio theater, and it seems more special somehow. It seems more, I think I'm getting more out of it, and the audience is getting more out of it. And it's more this sense of, what do I want to say? It feels more, I want to say holy, but that seems like the wrong word. It seems more extraordinary, I guess. I mean, more, I don't know if I can find, I guess holy is sacred. It feels more sacred. It feels like something sacred is happening in this tiny little space, you know.